You don't need to go far in Osnabruck to see signs of the former garrison. 2 years on, the barrack blocks are still standing, the NAFI signs are still in place, but times are changing. Sid West runs the local Royal British Legion. In a city where people are looking to the future, he still remembers the past. So Sid, we're in Woolwich Barracks. Tell me a bit about what this was like.
Well, it's changed a lot in the years since I've been here. I mean, when you look to the right there, that was the old British Legion. Here's where all the transport, where all the buses, and behind the post office you will see the cinema and conference room.
British troops spent more than 60 years in Osnabruck. Arriving on the 4th of April 1945, they picked up the pieces of a city in tatters. By the 60s, it had become one of the largest overseas garrisons in the British Army, holding up to 12,000 troops. Through the threat of the Cold War into conflicts in the Gulf, Kosovo, Iraq and Afghanistan, the garrison played a part. But all that ended when the MOD announced it was to shut in 2006. And when the final soldiers departed 3 years later, it was time for the city to move on.
British soldiers in Osnabruck, that was a unit. It took some time to realize what's really going on, that 160 hectares of areas would become free, first time after 60 years or something like that. But the only chance we had was to take the chance and to do what we could do.
This is Roberts Barracks, once home to engineers, gunners and a med corps. Now these buildings have been left derelict and abandoned. But behind these gates is undergoing something of a transformation. It's being turned into an area for light industry, a sign of the city's future. A leading coffee machine manufacturer is moving in. Soon this site will be transformed. Elsewhere, Infell Barracks, which was the last to close, is now a business park. Belfast Barracks is being replaced with a science and technology centre, and Woolwich Barracks is now part of the university. Peter Davis is Drawdown manager at JHQ and oversaw the departure from Osnabruck. He says there's lots of lessons to learn.
Clearing the barracks and moving all the equipment out was one thing, but I think probably the most difficult part was managing our workforce. We had about nearly 800 civilian employees, very loyal workforce, some of whom have been working for the garrison for many years.
While personnel have all moved on, there are those that have chosen to stay. The Royal British Legion is a hub for veterans like Eric Yarnell, who served with the Royal Army Ordnance Corps.
I remember walking down Lotterstrasse one night, it must have been 2 o'clock in the morning, coming back from somewhere, and I thought, how lucky I am to be here. Other people have to pay to come to Germany for a holiday, I'm living here. But if I went back to England now, then I'd be a stranger in my own country, so I decided to stay here. And I'm glad we got the British Legion, it keeps me going.
For many here, the past is still built in their memory, and that history will live on. Osnabruck may be looking ahead, but many hope that by looking back at the way things were handled here, any future drawdowns will be a similar success. Carla Proto, Forces News, Osnabruck.